Okay. We now welcome a younger voice, one that embodies the evolving spirit of humanism, shaped by global experiences and the dynamic pulse of digital dialogue. Mohit Palagiri, HR executive, writer, and humanist advocate. Originally from Andhra Pradesh and raised in the Gulf, Mohit Palagiri blends global experience with deep cultural roots in the Tamil community. He holds a master's in human resource management from the University of Leeds, UK, and writes passionately on humanist themes. Mohit's journey into activism began at age 12, following personal experiences with bullying that sparked a lifelong commitment to fighting discrimination. By 17, he embraced the philosophy of Thanthai Periyar and launched a blog focused on social justice. His writing has since featured in the Telugu humanist group under Babu Gogineni's mentorship and in Humanistically Speaking, a UK-based magazine. He continues to promote Dravidian and humanist values through talks, blogs, and digital platforms, representing a new generation of socially conscious voices. With great pleasure, let's welcome Mohit Palagiri to the stage.
Hi Mohit. Dr. Soma Ilangovan will facilitate Mohit.
Good evening to the dignitaries, scholars, and everyone. Thank you for the introduction, and it's an honor for me to speak at this prestigious forum. So when it comes to the topic, I hope I'm audible. Yeah. It is Periyar and Intersectionality. So as a student of gender studies during my masters, the theory of intersectionality has fascinated me a lot. So I would like to define the topic of intersectionality in my own words rather than a theoretical explanation. Yeah. Intersectionality, in a simple terms, I could say that there are many identities in the world, such as race, gender, disability, sexualities, and lot more. These identities do overlap or intersect, which creates the experiences of either privilege or oppression. And this also says humans aren't recognized anymore by single social category, but by multiple social categories. And can I give an example for this? Is it okay? Yeah. There are, for example, let us take two women, one from black race and another from white race, do face the discrimination. But in those groups, factors such as education, class, economic class, income groups, education, and sadly the conventional beauty standards do shape their experiences of discrimination. And this term was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw in her 1989 article, and she is like a civil rights advocate and activist, and according to UCL, University College London, this topic intersectionality has moved from so-called academy into the sections like social justice and feminist circles and gaining quite more popularity now. Periyar and its revolutions. So during Periyar era, the protests of parties or ideology organizations were only like non-static and they were doctrine. Like they will only follow the doctrine way. They can't move away from the doctrine and they can't fight for the people. But Periyar wasn't like that. From his non-political days to joining in Congress, again to starting the self-respect movement, he was he played a distinctive role and he fought for everyone. As there is one author named Victor Gunasekara, he wrote a book called Basic Buddhism, and in that he mentioned that Buddhism shared the similarities of Western rationalism and humanism. As such, I would also like to take the liberty and I could say Periyarism has the roots of intersectionality much before the intersectionality was discovered, and I would like to give one example. In the book Revolutionary Sayings of Periyar, it was mentioned that Periyar claimed social discrimination exists at every form and it must be demolished. And I want to also give another example. During the first self-respect movement at Chengalpet, Periyar passed resolutions for the removal of caste, equal access to water bodies, equal opportunities, land redistribution to so-called untouchables, their employment in public services, education for all, equal property rights, employment for women, prohibition of child marriages, women rights, compulsory and equal education, marriage rights, worker rights, minimum wages, the promotion of racialism and communal representation. Let me tell you, comrades, in that time, no party or organization, in a frank word I could say, have guts to pass these resolutions as our Thanthai Periyar have passed. And I could say, let us discuss how Periyar addressed each issue now, the social disparities. Next slide.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. And by the way, these images are created by me through Sora app, according to this. So Periyar and caste. The caste is the major ongoing issue now. And Periyar once said, till a few minutes before my death, I shall fight for the abolition of the caste. And during those times, the intellectuals and the leaders like Gandhi, Savarkar, Bharatiya, Vivekananda and all, they used to tell caste should, like people should be equal irrespective of caste. But they think like hierarchy should exist as such, the role should exist as such. But whereas our Thanthai Periyar didn't advocate as such, and he had a very distinctive plan where he thought for the complete destruction of the caste system hierarchy itself. And where he opposed the oppressor caste, encouraged the depressed classes to study and work for the self-respect, educated the masses about the atrocities of the caste system, and highlighted the atrocities in the religion, advocated the removal of caste titles, and strongly supported political rights and reservation in jobs and education. As Ravikumar Verma sir said about Vaiko movement, Periyar actively protested against every form of discrimination, and one such was Vaiko. Actually, Vaiko movement, the movement started before itself by T.K. Madhavan, George and Keswan. But once Periyar took over the movement on his shoulders, the movement has went into a wide range, like India-wide recognition that B.R. Ambedkar had also studied this movement, and this movement laid the foundation for the temple entry movement for all over India, and where Periyar name got well recognized. Thus, Periyar didn't merely call for an abolition of caste like others. He had a very comprehensive plan to destroy caste like that, institutionally, socially and cognitively from the society. Periyar and class. The class is also a major issue all over the world. Periyar understood class and economic disparities from his early days and understood the problems of peasants and laborers, and he addressed the problems of them in every speech and writings. And when it comes to about the example of intersectionality, I would say that he planned for a manifesto with communist pioneer Maliyapuram Singarvelar to address both caste and class issues. And also Periyar stated in his speeches and writings that without addressing casteism, the implementation of socialism would be futile, and emphasized that the ultimate goal of socialism must be eradication of the casteism, and racialism should also uplift in helping the poor and downtrodden. So as such, we can see that Periyar cared for caste and class, where some organizations were there where they cared only about the class. So he advocated the formation of unions at the time where unions were banned, and he supported a Nagpattinam railway worker strike and got imprisoned as well. And Periyar was very visionary in addressing workers' rights and economic disparities. In his book so-called World to Come, he spoke against monopoly, poverty, slavery and wealth inequality. And to the surprising, he advocated for shorter working hours, the promotion of work-life balance, employment for all, missions for scavenging work and social security for everyone. Even till date we ask for these rights, and not only in India, all over the world. Periyar advocated for cooperative economics, supported for land redistribution, insisted that the key sectors should remain in the government hands, and when it comes to the agriculture, he promoted so-called automation of the farming techniques and when it comes to the small scale industries, he insisted that mechanized small scale industries should come. I would like to tell you friends, mechanized small scale industries helped in the growth of countries like China, Taiwan, South Korea and Japan. I would say when Periyar mentioned about this, the countries of what I have mentioned, they weren't developed yet. But Thanthai Periyar was so visionary. And when it comes to the rural region development, our Indian former president APJ Abdul Kalam used to share an idea called Pura, P-U-R-A, providing urban amenities in rural areas. And our Thanthai Periyar mentioned the same 80 years back, that the rural regions must have adequate facilities with a great infrastructure. So you can read it. And this is how Thanthai Periyar was with a great vision. And when it comes to the topic of feminism, Periyar and gender. When it comes to the gender, the same thing as I mentioned in caste, that the leaders, same like they used to tell that the women should remain equal, like they have to be equal and there should be no mistreatment, but the traditional role should remain as such. Whereas Veermani I mentioned, Periyar approach can be described as Periyar feminism, and as Arulmozhi Madam stated, Periyar feminism is essential element of all schools of feminism and it is truly unique. As such, Periyar formulated a very scientific, visionary and radical approach to destroy the patriarchy, where he advocated for women's freedom, supported for reservations in politics, and promoted technical education and employment opportunities for women. And he educated the masses against patriarchy to both men and women. We have to say this. And he promoted gender neutral literature, challenged oppressive customs, and ultimately introduced self-respect marriages to ensure equality among the couple. To the fact, I have to tell you that Periyar wrote his book Why Women Were Enslaved much before Bertrand Russell's Marriage and Morals. And when it comes to the intersectionality point, Periyar emphasized that feminism should focus on uplifting the downtrodden women and not confined to the Brahmin women of those times. I would say Periyar was a born feminist. Before being an anti-caste crusader, he was a feminist warrior, I could claim it, because from his non-political days, he always encouraged women from his home and locality to study, to work, to participate in politics, and he conducted remarriages for widows in his locality as well. So, as such, he was a born feminist, I could tell. And there was one example I would like to give. When Gandhi advocated for anti-Toddy movement, Gandhi viewed this movement in a moralistic way. But Thanthai Periyar viewed this issue through feminist lens, and he encouraged his wife Nagammal and his sister Kannammal along with the women volunteers to protest against this horrible thing, and where he encouraged them, and thus at that time Erode anti-Toddy movement turned to be successful, where Gandhi wrote about this in his Young India magazine and appreciated Periyar, Nagammal, Kannammal and other women volunteers. I would like to say, henceforth in those times, Periyar fought for every section of the society I mentioned, where at that time some organization blatantly ignored them. But Periyar fought for them, and now these groups are being benefited in Tamil Nadu a lot. And when it comes to the present, LGBTQ and other marginalized people in Dravidianism, now at present, Tamil Nadu government under M.K. Stalin is uplifting every marginalized community, and where these communities are ignored in other states and even in other countries, these people condition are very horrible. When it comes to the LGBTQ, Washington Way, one of the LGBTQ magazine, has claimed Tamil Nadu is the progressive state for the community, and our visionary Kalaignar Karunanidhi introduced the Transgender Welfare Board at 2008 and addressed a name Kurunagai, a respectful word for the transgender, and now the current government is providing with numerous reservations in employment and education, giving health insurance schemes, and many schemes are proposed for their inclusivity. And when it comes to the minorities, Tamil Nadu is home for social and linguistic minorities, where the commission has been set up and the reservation and the schemes are being present to them, and where these minorities do feel Tamil Nadu as their home, and the political representation of minorities is being more in Tamil Nadu compared to any other state, I could say. So it's because of Dravidianism. When it comes to the differently abled people, Tamil Nadu government has recognized the needs of differently abled people at all categories and provides them great reservations, schemes and inclusive infrastructure for their development and growth. I would like to conclude the point Periyarism is one of the greatest philosophies. Periyarism has uplifted countless individuals from the downtrodden communities to the greatest positions ever. And Periyarism has sparked their revolution, not through the force, it's by education and awareness that we have to remember this. And as Subudai Ayya in his speech mentioned that medicine is prepared by Periyar for society, enriched well by Anna, and medicine was implemented and distributed to all Tamilians by Kalinga. As such, today Tamil Nadu is thriving under Thiru M.K. Stalin in every aspect because of Periyar philosophy and vision of Anna and Kalinga. Actually, I would like to end my poem with a poem by Bharatidasan, translated in English version. So, devising a good scheme is our duty. Eradicating all evil is our duty. Our duty is to enrich our country. It is our bounden duty to protect perfect Tamil. Establishing a lifestyle transcending religion, caste and government is also our duty. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohit, for reminding us that the humanist voice knows no age, that conviction, not chronology, defines leadership. Your story reflects the modern continuity of the Periyar Ambedkar legacy carried forward through blogs, podcasts, and digital platforms.